Alright guys, so here's another fanfiction idea that I've actually had for the longest time, but I've never really had time to just sit down and talk about it with you guys. So I figured it'd be fun to kind of talk about this, and that is a Randy Cunningham AU that is where he becomes Daredevil, yeah. Because when you really think about it, Randy is very much like a weird amalgamation of Spider-Man and Daredevil. I mean, well, he's more Daredevil than Spider-Man, in that he has a villain. His villain, first off, is this big-time corporation guy, but not in the mob, but like no one can touch him, and he has a personal vendetta for him. He also delves into the mystic, magic and ninja stuff. He also has a best friend who's heavy-set and very quick, is trying to get with the ladies but can't. And one of his teachers is blind. Yeah. And I'm a first to S. Ward Smith, who's pretty much his shtick. Pretty much Randy's stick, in a way. So anyway, in this AU, Randy in this continuity is a young law student who has recently lost his eyesight just before he became a freshman in law school. And he's also still friends with Howard, who is, like I said, his Foggy Nelson. And he is, his father, much like with Matt Murdock, was murdered by, was murdered, but in this continuity, he was killed for knowing a little too much. He was an enforcer for Hannibal McFist, who is the kingpin in this continuity. But he wasn't a boxer. He was an enforcer who basically was going to go to the cops and rat. He was going to go to the feds and rat and tell everything after after Kingpin essentially threatened his son. Threatened his son to keep him in line. So he's like, fuck that. I'm going to go to the feds. So his dad was essentially murdered for it. Now, Randy, on the other hand, grew up in foster care. He grew up in foster care, and he actually grew up with Howard. He actually grew up in Howard's family in this continuity. But along the way, he was still learning to use his powers. He was still learning to be Daredevil. And also in this continuity, Howard already knew that something happened with Randy in his accident, that left him blind. But he doesn't know he's Daredevil yet. He's basically, Randy right now is kind of going through his Man in Black costume right now. He's kind of going through the the Man in Black suit, the Year One costume. He does know that he's, exceptionally well-skilled, and he has these special ability, there's obviously something special about him. But what they do is, to get some extra money on the side, they basically hustled people at bars. They were hustlers at they'd hustle people at bars for extra money, but at the same time, they're still working at law school, so it's kind of like Howard even mentions, it's kind of an oxymoron that we do this, right? So that was like I said, it's very much Daredevil, but at the same time, there are some changes here and there. We also have S. Ward Smith, who is Randy's stick in this continuity. He is Randy's teacher in the martial arts, and there is the hand, but I didn't really go too deep into making the hand as it is. We also have Viceroy, who in this continuity is the owl. He's more like the owl from the comics than he is from this show, where he's more like, hoot hoot and all that, but he's a little more creepier. You also had Julian, who's Mr. Fear, another classic Daredevil villain. Bucky was Stiltman. That's right, I made Bucky Stiltman. Who else did I have as villains? You're probably wondering, well, who's Bullseye and who's Elektra and who's Karen Page? those are the other three major characters for this. So, for first and foremost, Karen Page was, Teresa was Karen Page. She's the Karen Page of this continuity, and she was another student who was going to law school and teaching and learning with Randy in his class, but also kind of had like a schoolgirl crush on him. And Howard was trying his best to get them together, but nothing was really working. Then you had Heidi, who is in this continuity, Elektra. You see, in this universe, Heidi had gone off to you know, she had gone off out of college to train abroad. She had learned. She was teaching abroad. She was basically learning abroad. And what happened was she was nearly killed by some gangsters while she was in Europe. She was in Greece, and she was nearly killed by some gangsters. But then the Hand came along and saw her as a weapon they could use, and turned her into the assassin. Into an assassin like Elektra. So that was the whole thing. And Randy and Heidi have this kind of like Batman-Catwoman relationship, more so than Matt and Elektra actually do. I know I'm taking some liberties here, but hey, you know, it's an alternate universe. I think I have the right to take some liberties. Speaking of liberties, there are also some other superheroes that showed up in this. I wanted to have in this continuity, and maybe I'll talk more about them in separate stories because I wanted to do like a Disney Marvel universe in a way. So one of them was Mabel, who is Spider-Girl in this continuity. She's Spider-Girl, and I'll go, like, if anything, I'll go into detail with her next, if I ever do this again. But yeah, Mabel is Spider-Girl. We also had the Fantastic Four, who were... I'll hide who was the Fantastic Four in here. We also had Hawkeye and Black Widow, who were Kim Possible and Ron Stoppable, respectively. Marco was Moon Knight. Yeah, Marco was Moon Knight. Also had, oh god, I'm forgetting now. There was also Phineas, who was the Iron Man of this universe. Star was like the Thor of this universe, but more like female Thor, like Jane Foster Thor. So yeah, there are some gender bents in here. There are some gender bents here and there. But yeah, I just kind of figured, yeah, it's a pseudo Marvel Disney universe, but take some liberties with it. So that was kind of the whole idea with this. But at the first and foremost I thought of was Randy. So you guys tell me in the comments below, what do you guys think of this Randy Cunningham Daredevil AU? And also, what do you guys think of this Marvel Disney AU? Do you guys want to see more stories based around them? Because I got a few of them. I just never really went into it. I never really built further into it, sadly. So you guys just comment below, let me know what you guys think of all this. Do you want to see more of this, or... Because I did think of some, but I didn't think of, like, every single Marvel character becoming, Disney character becoming a Marvel character, just letting you know. But until next time, I will see you guys later.